So good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
So is this app convenient? Wise app?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It has so many features, so that's why we selected that app. Okay. So 24 join now. Shall I start the class?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
ಎಲ್ಲ ಅದ್ರಾಗ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಕಲಿತು
Yeah, off mic off ಮಾಡು. Okay, so did you try? Do you have any doubts regarding list till now? What I have discussed on list. Do you have any doubts on that? Yes. Hello. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Have you tried any programs on list, or have you practiced methods of list? Yes or no? Have you practiced any methods, list methods, or programs to try to write programs on my list? Hello. Miss Ina.
No, sir.
At least you tell no, yes. Huh? Right, Ashwini. Have you tried any examples? Programming examples on list?
On this different.
Not tried. Okay. Okay. So today, as we discussed in last class, we discussed about the methods. So today I'm going to take one program. Okay. So after that, we'll go for another data type of list type. Okay. So let me share the screen first. So is my screen visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so now let us take an example program here that's called as Magic 8-ball program. Okay, so we can write this program by using ellipse statement as well as by using the list. Okay, first let us see here what is this Magic 8-ball program. So I'll take this program copy. Okay, so this program is simple. So just what we have here is there are 9 messages. Okay, there are 9 messages. So those messages are numbered from 0 to 8. So that's why the name given to that program as Magic 8, right? Because the messages are numbered as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 8, right? There are 9 messages. So what user is doing here in this program is generating some number between 0 to 8. Mean randomly the user is going to generate a number between 0 to 8. If a number generated is 5, then I'm going to display the fifth message from the list of 9 messages, right? If the number generated is 8, then I'm going to display the 8th message from the list of 9 messages, right? So that way, so here user is going to generate one number. Based on that number generated, I'm going to display the respective message, right? Okay. So here's program. Okay. So what I have here is so a function. So to print the message based on the number generated by the user, right? So what I'm doing in the if statement, I'm comparing the number given to the function. So if a number is equals to 0, if number is equals to 0, then I'm going to display a message called as it is certain, right? Just I'm finding some fortune of the user, right? So let me complete this program and then I'll explain. Right. See, look at here, try to understand here. So first here I'm generating some random number. So mean the user is generating some random number between 0 to 8, and that number I'm passing as a parameter, as an argument to the get answer function, right? I'm passing that number which is available in R to the get answer function. So then what this function does is, so it checks that number, okay, the given parameter. So this answer number will be having either 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 8. So based on the random number generated. So if the number is equals to 0, it is going to display a message called as it is certain. If the number is equals to 1, it is going to display the message called as it is decidedly so. Like so different messages are there. Different messages are there. So based on the number generated, it is going to display one of the message here. As it is else if ladder, so one of the message will be displayed based for the given number. Okay, so look, try to execute this program. Right. Now first save this one. Right, it's a magic 8-ball program using Elif. Right, look at here now. So what we got here? Outlook not so good. So why we got Outlook not so good? So mean that you see here the number, you can check here R. What is the value of R now? What is the random number generated for R?
7.
7.
So since it is 7, what is there for 7 here? Outlook not so good.
Outlook.
So that's the message we got here. So likewise, see here. So if I execute again here, so now this time I got it is certain. What is that? It is certain. That is the first message, which means that value of the R must be 0. Correct? Value of the R must be 0. Look at here now. R value is 0. Since randomly I'm generating, so the function is randomly. So user is generating some number. See again I got R value is 7. So it has got the output. Outlook not so good. Again if I run this one, now this time I got very doubtful. So because the R value is 8 now. What is the R value equals to 8? Very doubtful. So like this, randomly it is displaying a one message based on the random number generated by the user. So this is the code for generating a message to display a message based on the random number generation, right? The same program can be rewritten with the list. So what I'm going to do in the list, you see here now. So here is the program for that. Okay, just take a copy of this one, right? Paste it here. Now look at what I did here. Instead of having here, so all these messages, what I did here, all these 9 messages I have taken in a list. So that's a list called as messages. wherein messages list I am having all these messages. That is first message is it is certain, second message is it is decidedly so. Like that, all the messages are taken in a list. Now I am having, what I'm doing is I want to display the message, one of the message based on the random number generated between 0 to 8. For that, what I'll do, you see here. So I'll show you with the, okay. So first thing you just try to understand here by using this function, right? Rand_int from 0 to 8. I can generate a random number between 0 to 8, right? So what I'm going to do here, this I'm going to use in the program. How I'm going to do here, look at here. So what I'll do here, instead of writing 0 comma 8, so what I'll write here in place of 8, I'm going to write the length function with the name of the list. That means automatically it will take a, it is not like we have always 8 messages in the 9 messages in the list. There may be several other items, there may be several other messages in the list. There may be 10, there may be 12, there may be 50, or even maybe 100 messages. So depending on the number of messages available, I will calculate the number of messages in the list, and then I'll generate a number in that range, right? For that purpose, I'm going to use in the program called as len of messages, right? So this len of messages is going to give us the number of values in the list, number of elements in the list. So but as I need to generate one lesser than the total number, so I'm going to do -1 operation for this, because the range, as we are starting from 0, so the last number will be 1 less than the total number, that's why. So I'm going to use this function, that is random.randint of 0 comma length of messages -1. So this also will generate a random number between 0 to 8, because messages is having 9 messages. So length of messages will give 9, and 9 minus 1 will be 8. So 0 to 8, between 0 to 8, it is going to generate one number, right? So that's why look into this one here. Now what I'm having here, random.randint of 0 comma length of messages -1. So this will give us one number between 0 to 8, and that number I'm using as an index. So mean that, just for your convenience, I'm going to show you just look at here now, messages of square brackets. So what I'm going to specify in square brackets, what we usually specify in the square brackets for the list, what we specify in the index, what we specify in the square brackets, index of the message or index of the element to be retrieved, correct? Suppose if I write an index 0, it is going to retrieve the first element, right? If I write a 1, it is going to retrieve the second element. If I write 5, it is going to retrieve the sixth element from the list. That's why, so the number which I'm generating between 0 to 8, being using as a index for the messages. So one of the messages will be retrieved, and that message will be displayed by the print function, right? Now look at here, if I execute this code, this is again magic 8-ball program, but using a list here. Now this time we are using a list, right? Run this code. Now look here, this time what we got here, it is decidedly so, right? Likewise, if I rerun this code, right? So now I'm getting yes definitely. Yes definitely is nothing but, now look at here, this is the message I got here. Second time I got the message as yes definitely. That means the index generated is, or the number generated, random number generated is 0, 1, 2. That is true. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
So now this time I got it is certain. That means the index generated is 0. Random number generated between 0 to 8 is 0, right? Now, so what is the advantage? What is the advantage now from this program to this program? If you see these two programs, which one is reliable and easy? Yes.
List ones. List programs.
Obviously,
Programs.
see what happens here. So because look at here the length of the program. One is length of the program and easy to understand, right? And the second thing, see, suppose if I want to add some more messages in the list, if I want to add 5 more messages in the list, right? So what I can do here, just I can go to the end, right? Right, I can go to the end and start adding the messages. See, for example, I'll just write here ABC, right? So then PQR, right? Right. Then I'll add suppose ABC, sorry, XYZ, right? Like 3 messages now I added, right? Earlier there were 9, now I have added 3 more messages. So now it is 12 messages. But I need not to change this code. I need not to change this code. So this works because ln of messages will take now 12. 12 minus 1 will be 11. So the number it is going to generate will be between 0 to 11. And that number will be taken as an index, and that based on that index value, it is going to retrieve one particular message from the messages, and that message will be displayed on the screen. So simple updation is not a big deal here. But here, if I want to do the updation, what I should do here? For this program, if I want to add 3 more messages, what I should do? Yes.
Add 3 more.
So again here I need to copy this one, then put a number 9, right? Then you put here this one as ABC, right? Take a copy of this one, right? Then place here one more, that is 10, right? Then I'll take here PQR, right? Then take another copy, make it 11, then write XYZ. So now 3 more messages been added. So but now what changes I need to do here for this randint function? Instead of 8, what I should write here now?
11.
Yes,
11, sir.
I need to write 11 now. So like these many changes I did here in the program. So but here for the list, just I increase the number of messages. So my program is working for the updated one. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes,
So
sir.
that way so many advantages are there. So many advantages are there. So at the end of this class, I'm going to give you 3 programs. One I'll explain, and 2 I'm going to give you as an assignment. So like there are so many advantages, several advantages for using the list. Okay, your programs can be made simple. Okay, very small and simple. So that's why. So we have to so we have to practice of applying the list in applications wherever it is required, right? Okay. Then so we'll move on to the next concept, that is, so we have 2 more data types which are very similar to list. One is strings data type and another one is tuples, right? So strings, obviously I'm going to take these strings later in another class, okay, where I'll be discussing so many methods are there to work on strings. Okay, we'll discuss in detail with the strings. So but now today I'm going to discuss one more data type that is called as tuples. Okay, and what is tuple, how it is different from the list, okay, and what are the similarities of tuples and list. So that you are going to learn in this class now, right? One is, as you know, the list is mutable. What do you mean by mutable? So what do you mean by mutable? Hello all.
Changeable.
Mutable.
Modifying.
Modifying. Okay. So the list can be modified. So elements can be added, elements can be deleted, or the element values can be changed. So that all comes as a mutable. Mean when the list is when you say that an object is mutable, that means its data can be modified. Its content can be modified. But look at your other 2 types, like strings and tuples. What are these? What are these? Immutable. What does it mean?
Immutable.
Immutable means
Cannot be modified.
it cannot be modified, right? So here now I'm going to just explain tuples with the comparison of list. Okay, later I'll be discussing strings. So now look at here, to create a list, we are going to use the square brackets. Likewise, to create the tuple, we have to use the parenthesis. So instead of square brackets, we have to use here parenthesis. But almost the features of the list and tuples are same, except tuples are immutable. Mean they cannot be modified. So what exactly it mean? I'll tell you that one with the examples. And second thing, so list can be converted into tuple and tuple can be converted into list. Mean conversion can be done here. If I have a list which is mutable in nature, but if I want immutable nature of list, immutable kind of list, so then I can convert it into tuple. Are you getting my point? What I'm telling? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
What
sir.
I said, list is basically
Yes, sir.
a mutable. List is basically a mutable. But if I want my requirement is I want an immutable type of list. Immutable type of list. Then what I can do, I can convert that list into tuple so that it becomes immutable and I can use the same features with a tuple. Right? And then similarly, if I have a tuple, if I want to convert it into mutable tuple, then I can convert it as a list. So both are possible. List can be converted into tuple can be converted into list. Then one more speciality is there with the tuple. So that is when you are creating a tuple with a single element, then it must end with a comma. Okay, so let us understand all these features one by one with the examples here. Okay. Right. Now try to understand here. So creating a tuple now. Right. So I will create my tuple, right? So just parenthesis, right? 1 comma 2, sorry. Okay, right, 10 comma 20 comma 30, right? So now there are three items. Right? Now look at it. Now tuple has been created. So how to know that this is a tuple type or list type? So for that you can use the type command and then you can give the name of the tuple that you created. So now look at here. What is the class type? What is the class type here?
Tuples.
Tuple.
So likewise, see likewise, suppose if I create a list, so just I'll give my list. Then so here I'm going to use this square brackets 10 comma 20 comma 30. So for list we have to use the square bracket. For tuple we have to use the parenthesis. Now if I execute the type function on this my list, it is going to give the class name as list. Did you get this one? Now difference between my tuple and the list.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now so if I want to retrieve elements of the tuple, if I want to access the tuples, elements of the tuple, so then look at the first element, that is 10. So that I can retrieve with the index. So that is as we do with the list. This is similarity, right? My tuple of 0. So just as I write my list of 0, which is going to give us 10 from the list. Similarly, my tuple of 0 is going to give us the first element of the tuple, that is 10. So indexing is very similar in the tuple as well as in the list. Indexing is same. So that indexing is always written with a square brackets. Did you get this one now?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now try to
Yes, sir.
understand here. I said a lists are mutable in nature, but tuples are immutable in nature. What does it mean here? Try to understand here. Suppose if I write my list of 0 equals to 1000, what is going to do here? What is going to happen here now with this operation? My list of 0 equals to 1000. What is going to do now to the list?
Replaces 10 by
10 will
1000.
be changed.
Yes, it
1000.
replaces 10 by 1000, right? Now execute this my list. Now look at here, the first one, that is 10. So since index value 0 has been modified, so this 10 has been replaced with a 1000, right? And other two elements are similar. But can we do the same thing for the tuple? Suppose
No, sir.
1000.
sir.
My tuple of 0 equals to 1000. Will it do the operation?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Why it's not going to execute this step? Mean this operation.
Immutable.
Suppose by basic nature, they are immutable. Mean they cannot be modified. The elements of the tuple cannot be modified. Look at here now. Tuple object does not support item assignment. Are you getting my point here now? So they are immutable, right? Right?
Yes.
So basically
Yes.
what you need to understand from this feature, see, suppose if you are using some, for example, you take a student database. I'm maintaining some student database, right? So usually the constant data of the student is USN number, correct?
Yes, sir.
Usually
Yes, sir.
USN number of the student doesn't modify, right? So what you can do, those kind of data can be kept in a tuple, so that even by accident or by mistake also the data cannot be modified in the tuple. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Right. Suppose if I want to maintain the percentage of the students, for example, first sem, second sem, third sem, fourth sem, up to 8 semester of students date percentage I want to maintain in a collection, maintain in the collection. Then which one I should prefer here? Which one I should use here?
List.
Tuple or I should use list?
List.
Obviously I should use list, right? Because percentages may vary, right? They can't be constant, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's the
yes, sir.
exactly. So this is where you need to choose whether you have to go for tuple or you have to go for a list. So because some data which are constant, some data are constant, they need not require modification. So in that case, you need to prefer the tuple. So when you prefer tuple, what happens here? They are going to give us write protected list. Tuple is nothing but it is a write protected list. I think you might have heard this word, right? Write protected or only readable. Only read operation is permitted on the data, right? Yes or no? Write protected data. Have you heard the word write protected data or read only data?
No, sir.
Read only data. Read only data. Not heard? You are there or not, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then why
Yes,
are not
sir.
answering?
Sir.
Why are not answering? I have not heard this word write protected or read
No,
only
sir.
data.
Sir.
Not heard?
No, sir.
How come? See, okay, so but see, basically the read only data is nothing but the data cannot be modified. That is immutable kind of nature, immutable kind of data. So mean if it is a secure document, usually write operation on the data document will be prevented. Write operation on the document will be prevented. So such documents are called a write protected. Write protected means they can be only read but cannot be modified. So in those cases, it is better to go for tuple data type. If you want to have the such kind of data in the document, so then it is better to go for the tuple. Okay, so because if once you store the data in the tuple, so they cannot be altered, they cannot be modified. Are you getting? Right. So then what are the operations we can do here? Can we do all the operations which we had applied or which we had done on the list? Like append operation was there, extend operation was there, remove option was there, del operation was there. So many methods we learned on list. So like sort operation was there, right? So many methods we learned on a list. Can we apply all those operations on the tuple also? Is it possible?
No, sir.
So to know that one, so not we can't do all the operations because basically you see here append operation is going to change the is going to add an element to the list, right? That means inserting an additional item into the list. That means it is changing the content of the list, correct? Append operation is going to change the number of elements in the list, right?
Yes, sir.
Then
Yes, sir.
modification, it is nothing but modification, right? But what are tuples? What are tuples? Basic nature of tuple. What is the basic nature
Can't
of
be
tuple?
modified.
Can't be
Immutable. Can't be
immutable.
modified. So that means append can't be done. Extend, same thing. So it is going to add elements, iterable elements into the list. So we can't do that. So that's why to know the operations that we can perform on the tuple, you see here, only two are there. One is count, that is to count the number of occurrences of an element. Count operation or count method is used to count the number of occurrences of a given element, right? And to know the index value of a element, you can use a method called as index. Only these two operations are permitted. But if I check with the list, you look at here, how many operations are there? Append is there, clear is there, copy, count, extend, index, insert, pop, remove, reverse, sort. So these many methods are available to work on list. So but as they are going to modify these functions, except count and index, other functions are going to modify the content of the list. So we cannot apply these methods on the tuple. So only we can do count and we can do the index operation. So let us see here how to do those operations here. So my tuple count of, see if I just give 20, so how many times this 20 has occurred in the tuple, it is going to give us the value. That is one time. It is not going to modify it, it's just searching for an element, and it's finding the number of times that element has appeared in the tuple, right? Likewise, so you can find the index of an element. So for example, if I want to know the index value, what is the index value of 30? So now look at here, my tuple of 30. Tuple object is not, sorry, my tuple dot index of 30. I typed it wrongly, right? My tuple dot index of 30. So the index value of 30 is 2. So because it is the last element of the list, 3 elements are there. So the last index value is 2. Did you understand this one? Tuple?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, one special feature which I wanted to which I mentioned here in the PPT, that is single element tuple should end with the comma. So look at here, try to understand here what is the problem if I don't put a comma, and what will happen if I put a comma. Just try to understand here. So I'll write here my tuple one more I am going to create, right? I'll put a parenthesis. As you know, if I put a parenthesis, it is going to create a tuple. See, but what happens if I write just 100 with no comma? Single element is there, but I didn't put a comma at the end of 100 here. So if I execute this one, then see here, if I check the type of this my tuple one, right? Now look into the type here. What is the type here? What I got here? Class type as what is the class type now?
Integer.
So but what happened
Integer.
here? But I wrote the data within parenthesis, but didn't create the tuple, right? See, even if I write here, for example, ABC, right? If I write ABC and if I execute this one, if I execute this type on that my tuple one, now look at here, it is showing the string type because there is the data available in this parenthesis is string type, so it is created as a string type. When there was a data 100, it was creating it as an integer, but I was expecting my tuple one is to be tuple type. So what happens when there is a single data? Always you must end with a comma. Okay, that's a restriction. With the tuple. So if you have single element, then always end that single element with a comma, right? So now you check out your type, okay, of my tuple one. my tuple 1. Now look at here. What we got here now this time? This time we got the
Tuple.
tuple type.
Tuple.
Right? So that's the constraint on the tuple. But this is not so with the list. If list is having 0 or if list having 1 element, 2 element, then you can write just within the square brackets. It is going to create a list only. But here when you write the data with parentheses, so if you have single element, then always the single element should end with a comma. Then only it is going to create a tuple. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So the next point, references. So in C programming language, you already heard of pointers, right? Pointers basically holds the address of another variable. Holds the address of pointer, just basically a variable. Pointer is also variable, but which contains the address of another variable. So how useful they are? Okay, so let us understand with an example here, right? Now take a simple variable here now, spam. Right, just I'm taking a variable called as spam. Initial value of spam is 42 now, right? So now I'm going to create another variable, right, called as cheese, where I'm going to assign, for the cheese, I'm going to assign the value of spam, right? Then what will be the value of cheese now? 42, right? So now how many variables I'm having with me now? How many variables I'm having with me now?
2.
2 variables. So one is spam, which is having 42, and another one is cheese, which is having the 42 again, because it has got the value from spam, right? Suppose if I modify the spam value to 100 now, if I modify the value of spam to 100, now is it going to modify only spam or it is going to modify even cheese also?
Only spams.
Only spam. Why it is not going to modify cheese? Why it is not going to modify cheese? Right? Right. So look at it now. If I execute spam, now it is having the value 100. But if I execute cheese, then it will be having the value 42. So mean that spam and cheese are different variables, and they are referring different memory addresses. Right? So spam and cheese are different variables and they are referring different memory addresses. That's why the modification that we did for spam is not going to affect cheese. The modification what we did for spam is not going to affect the cheese. Look into this diagram here. Here I have shown that one. Spam is referring to this memory location. So is referring to this memory location. Initially there was 42 in this. So when I modified it to 100, this 42 was overwritten with the 100. But cheese has got its different location, where it has got the value 42 from the spam. So that's why. So when I did modification, it was modifying in the memory location of spam, but not in the cheese, right? But what happens with the list or even with the tuple? What happens with the list or tuple? So try to understand that one now. Okay, so now look at here. I'm going to create a list now, right?